Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Bleachers with Coach Jay. This is going to be a podcast for ORWALL, where we will discuss really any questions that you guys would have. It's something that we would like to do is get some community feedback. Also, have some good topics to talk about up at the park, things that we want to do, things that we plan on doing, and the reason behind some of those. We'll also have some guests. We'll be bringing in some of the board members, hopefully some local high school coaches. Bring them in here, and we'll have some good discussions about, what it takes to be a high school baseball player. What do we need to do to prepare? What does good look like? What does, being prepared look like? What can we do to improve ourselves? Are we doing one-on-one coachings and things like that? We'll also bring in some people from area businesses. We have Coach Tyler over at Infinite Hitting, who has been a really good person to work with for the park. If you've been to any of the player camps or coaches clinics, you have met Coach Tyler. He's a very outspoken guy, knows a lot about baseball, very passionate about the community, wants to really help ORWALL build its base, and we'll probably bring in some other people from different walks of life. We'll bring in board members. We'll have discussions with them. I'd love to bring in some players. That way we can have some really good talks with them, find out what they love about baseball, why they're out here, things like that. But for today, it's just kind of a meet and greet, right? So it's, like I said, introducing myself. I've been on the board for about 1.5 years now. I am the player agent, so I'm over player development. I am the one who schedules the camps, gets them all together, gets everybody in one spot, make sure everything's working, make sure the fields are ready for you for those camps, and things of that nature. I'm also in charge of equipment, which is in and of itself how would you put it? It's a monster of a deal, right? You always have to be available in case something breaks. And at the beginning of the season, it's a lot of work, just making sure you meet up with everybody so they get everything they need. We'll be ordering some new equipment. Just that's something that we wanted to let everybody know. We know some of the equipment we have it's been there a little bit, it's been used a little bit, it's been run through the ringer quite a bit. We have some more coming in. We just got some new catcher's gloves, right? Exciting news, right? So there you go. You heard it here first. One of the topics we'll talk about today is the 50-70 and go from there. 50-70 is going to come back in spring. One of the reasons that we're going to be doing that is most of the area Little Leagues, when we do All-Stars, they have 50-70. Montgomery, Tomball, Northwest 45. If you've noticed for Junior All-Stars the last couple years, there's only been one team in there. It's been ORWALL and Tomball. And we beat them one year, and then they beat us the next. It's a quick way to get to regionals. There's only one other team to play. So what we're doing is, one of the things that we have noticed is this year, our senior numbers aren't where they used to be, right? We used to have enough senior players, 15, 16-year-olds, for 4 or 5 teams. The last couple years, we have maxed out with probably 17 senior players. That's 15 and 16-year-olds. Going into fall, we also allow 17-year-olds to play. We only had 2. In the past years, we've had, up to 10. So what they're doing now is, one of the big discrepancies that happens is when you guys roll in there, we've got a lot of kids that are still 12 years old. The age range for junior seniors is 13 to 16. A lot of those kids haven't even had their birthday yet. So they're 12-year-old kids, haven't even, haven't grown, haven't really reached their potential, and you've got a 16-year-old kid throwing a 75-mile-an-hour fastball at him. And I can tell you it's scary. Those guys see that thing coming in there, and they don't want to swing. They don't want to be in the box. And it becomes this really big discrepancy between the age groups. So the big thing that we want to do is we want to make it fair. If you've looked at this season, we introduced minors and majors. Majors is just 12-year-olds, right? And minors is 10 and 11. So with doing that, it kind of left the 13-year-olds out to dry. I had even mentioned that I thought maybe we should move the 13-year-olds into majors with the 12-year-olds, 12 and 13. Not knowing that the president and vice president had already been talking about it and had already had a plan going forward. And their plan is to create, or not really create, but bring back 50-70 for the 13-year-olds. I think it'll be, if you look at our season this year with the junior senior division, we have 5 teams that are mainly 13-year-olds, 13, a couple of 14-year-olds, maybe one senior player on their team, which is, caused some issues with some parents, which we understand. And that's why we're looking to fix these things, right? It's if you come to us with an issue, we do our best to fix it. We're not just sitting there going, oh, well, too bad, just deal with it. It is what it is. We have to get through the season we're in first, obviously. We've had some people come by and go, well, why can't you just move my son to a different team? Well, the guy who drafted that team's counting on your kid. That's a big part of it. We have one 16-year-old on a team with nothing but 13-year-olds. When he pitches the ball, there's not even many kids who can catch it. That's an issue, and we know that. So what we're doing is we're working on ways to improve that. So we're bringing back 50-70. So most of the 13-year-olds go over there. There may be 1 or 2 that can play up. I don't know if we're going to do that or not, because you see that with minors and majors. We do have some 11-year-olds who play with the 12-year-olds just because they're a little more advanced, especially for fall. And I think mainly that was because we didn't do AAA for fall. We only do that for spring. So with the 50-70, and you have all the 13-year-olds in one place, and if you look at this crop of 13-year-olds, this is a great bunch of players. If you were to come out and watch some of the junior senior teams, if you're watching like the Storm or Space Cowboys or Cannonballers, they've got some really young, really good kids. The problem is they're just really young, right? So when you go against a team like maybe the Bulls or the Chiefs has 4 of the kids on that team were on the spring all-star teams for either junior or senior. And now they're all seniors, right? And if you play the Bulls, you're running into 3 kids that are in the baseball program at Grand Oaks. If you play the Iron Pigs, you're playing, one of the kids on that team is on the College Park High School team. Another one is in the Oak Ridge baseball class, right? So you're playing kids that they're just a little more advanced. They have a little more on them, right? And if you're playing the Trash Pandas, which is another one of the older teams that has more than 1 or 2 of the senior kids. Logan Willoughby is he was a senior all-star that played with with us in the spring. Kid's a great player. His brother's playing there, who's also a great player. And then you have the coach Walzer's son, who's a great player as well. So what happens is you run into these older kids, and it's just kind of it's really unbalanced. So we're looking at balancing that out. So I think that going into spring, and a lot of those coaches are going to move over, because most of the coaches in the divisions, that we're coaching our kids, right? So we're out there to spend time with them and have some fun. So we know of 5 coaches that are probably going to move over there. Yeah, hopefully we have a really good crop of kids, which I think we are. Because basically fall is always, it's just a preview for spring, the age group, you're moving up, things like that. But that will also create, for us, we need to retain our senior kids. We need to really work and focus on, and it's something that we're going to try and create a plan for, is bringing the older kids back out to ORWALL. It used to be that you had, we would wait for baseball tryouts for the high schools to be over, and then, before we even did our assessments, because we would have a big influx of those kids coming over. The problem is, last couple of years, that hasn't happened. And, the reason why is it's pretty simple. You hear this thrown around a lot, and it's kind of a cliche now, that Houston is the mecca for travel baseball. What they're not wrong. If you look just in the general area, you have multiple teams that play at Scrapyard. So you're looking at 5 or 6, teams just there that are practicing. You have another baseball organization down off Rayford that, some of those kids come in and play with us, WBA Crush. But there are, if you count them on one hand, just going from Premier at Tomball all the way over to, the Imperial Oaks area, you're looking at almost 20 teams, 20 baseball teams that weren't there 10 years ago, that weren't there 5 years ago. A lot of these teams crop up, and, I hate to say it, but what is happening is the select piece is kind of becoming Little League in a way, right? Because a lot of the kids that are playing, select baseball, and this is from experience because we went and played select baseball. If you get on a good team, it's a great experience. If you get a good coach, it's a good experience. The problem is a lot of these coaches are just out there for the money. You're paying them all this money, and what they're doing is they're either supplementing other kids in their program who can't afford to play but are really talented. So you're paying for your kid, and then you've got a couple scholarship kids. So you're paying for that. And you have this whole area now where kids are going, well, I want to be seen. I didn't make the high school team, not understanding there's a reason they didn't make the high school team. And you have this coach who's going to come to him and go, hey, man, I know you didn't make that team, but I can bring you out here and I'll get you seen by 10 scouts. Okay, he's not lying. He'll get scouts out there. 7 of them are JUCO scouts. You've got maybe one D3 scout out there, and you may get somebody from a professional team, but not very likely, right? So the problem is you have all that, you come out there and you're just paying to play, not understanding. Now you have all these demands on you. You're not having fun anymore. So you've taken the fun out of it. So it's Little League without the fun, right? Because I'll be honest with you, at the end of the day, I tell my son who plays high school baseball, he's out there playing, this is a good chance to go play with your friends. This is a good chance to go play positions you can't play at high school. This is a chance for you to go enjoy yourself again, find the love of baseball. It's not work. Because at high school, what are you doing every day? You're going in. At the end of the day, you hit practice. You're doing all the little things. You got somebody critiquing everything you're doing, which isn't a bad thing because that's what you want. That's what you strive for. And that's what I think everybody needs to. You got to have that goal. But I think that when you look at select baseball, who's taking a lot of the kids, and some of the kids deserve to be there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downing select baseball. I had a great experience with it. We did a lot of cool things. But at the end of the day, I think that just because you're a little bit better than the other kids doesn't mean you have to run off to go do something else. We at ORWALL, the thing is we'll come around to All-Stars and we don't have the kids we used to because of things like that, right? And we look at that because that's a pride thing. We used to be the standard for the area. And when you get into the lower divisions, we are. We definitely are. We make you work for it. We walk in there and we know that we've got the team to beat. Senior All-Stars this past year, we created a really good team, walked in and did a really good job. Our junior all-star team, it was a pretty good team, but, Tomball had a better one. So what we want to do is we want to bring as many kids back as we can. I think that if we can promote the fun of it, right, and that's what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to be telling you about all the great things about coming out here. If we can get back to the fun, back to the base of everything that is baseball, I don't see that we're going to have any problem bringing kids back, but we have to get back to that. And we have to have the kids wanting to come back out here, right? So if we're not creating a good environment for them and giving them a good place to play, it's not going to happen. We've been lucky enough. Getting players isn't the problem for us out here. If you look at this fall, I think it was a record fall for us. If we didn't have 1,000 kids, we had pretty close to it. We don't usually get those numbers with fall. Those are usually, springtime, 1,200, 1,300 kids. To do that in fall is just incredible. And we had, and the good thing about, and I know I'm talking a lot about the seniors, it's because my kid plays in the senior division. I coach in the senior division. So I have, just a little more information. And the thing is, going forward, especially doing this podcast into next season and things like that, we'll have more information about the teams. We'll have more information about what's going on in the divisions, things like that. We'll have the division directors in here to talk to you. We'll do all those things, and because we want you to be informed. But at the end of the day, since my kid's in senior division, I'm probably going to talk more about them than anything else. And just because I want to bring those kids back out there. I know a lot of those kids have watched them grow up, and they come into the division. You see them go, and he's playing for so-and-so. Well, he went to go do this. He's going to go play on a showcase team. I get that part of it, right? Once you age out, that's kind of what happens. During the springtime, the kids who play high school baseball, they can't play on any other team. They have to focus on their high school team. So we have a drop-off in the spring, and we want to start building that number back up. We want to start bringing these kids back out here. Let's have fun. Let's do what we need to. Let's be competitive when we go to All-Stars. We do have one of the things about last year's All-Star teams that I like, the senior All-Star team, we were able to supplement the kids that we had, since we didn't have very many. We were able to bring in some of the kids who we call them legacies. They have played out there before and wanted to come back and contribute. Senior All-Stars does not have you don't have to have like a certain number of games you have to play or anything like that. You can, as long as you have played at ORWALL before and you're willing to come out, we can bring you back out and have fun. Junior All-Stars, you have to have a minimum play rule for juniors and, majors and below. Senior All-Stars is just a little different. Some of the teams we play are actually, they're select teams. Northwest 45, who won spring, really good team. They had some really good players. A couple of them were PG rated players. I think they played for a local select team. And they came out and were, well coached, played really well, did a really good job. And we gave them all they could handle, with a team of mainly 14-year-old kids who were just turning 15, right? So the good thing is, because of that, we'll be able to bring a lot of those kids back in the spring, we hope, right? I've talked to some of them, and they're looking forward to it. So that's kind of where we are now, right? So 50-70 coming back, something we're looking forward to. Sometimes I go around the corner to get across the street, so I know I kind of droned on about that. But, just letting you know, if we're going to be releasing this on all of our socials. So if you have any questions for us, anything you'd like for us to answer, anything like that, go ahead and send questions in through Facebook or Instagram or wherever or you can email, secretary or not secretary, but I think it's information@orwallbaseball.com, or player agent at orwallbaseball.com. You can email me directly any questions you have, and we'll try to answer those. I think today I'm going to close on a question that I have here. It says, what would you love to find at a yard sale? And I have a really easy answer for that, being a baseball guy, and that's a bat. Because all of you guys know, when you go to buy a bat, they're $400 at least, right? So if you're at a good yard sale and somebody's got a really good bat out there, that's what I'd love to find. Something that cost me $50. The best bat my son ever used, I bought off eBay for $25. And man, he killed it until he got older, and you have to, you're getting a half graphite, half aluminum, half made out of a Meteor baseball bat. It costs you your car payment for the month. That's when it gets really fun, right? And then they get a job, you can have them kind of pay for their own stuff if they want to. Just kidding. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. And again, this is going to get better as it goes along. I can promise you. So for, this is Coach Jay. It's been Behind the Bleachers, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.